Doctors said cut the salt, ditch the wine, run more. And seniors obeyed, but their bodies? Not so happy. Here's how common healthy advice ends up backfiring after. 70. Let's get straight to the point. Low sodium life and the flavor. Crisis, what's the first thing many people over 70 give up after a checkup? Not smoking, not drinking. Nope, it's salt. That ancient mineral humanity once used to preserve entire civilizations? Banished from the kitchen for the crime of high blood pressure. Here's the problem. When someone hears cut down on salt, their brain translates it as eat everything like it's been steamed by regret. Suddenly, a dish that looks like a Mediterranean masterpiece tastes like wet cardboard. To be fair, yes, excess sodium can raise blood pressure. But removing salt completely from the diet at 70 plus? You're asking a taste bud that already retired a decade ago to come back to work with zero pay. Fun fact, a Harvard study found that seniors can lose up to 60% of their ability to taste salt and sweetness. So if grandma's taste buds are already on vacation, removing more flavor is like giving her a hug through a window. Awkward and disappointing. Even funnier? Seniors often sneak salt back in anyway. Soy sauce, table salt, hot sauce under the table like it's contraband. The healthy plan ends up going full circle back to salty heaven. And worse, some eat less because everything tastes like sadness, which leads to malnutrition. Talk about a healthy diet doing damage. Also, remember, iodine? Yeah, that tiny nutrient in salt your thyroid absolutely needs. Remove salt for too long, and your body starts throwing tantrums. Fatigue, cold hands, weird mood swings, all for the glory of tasteless soup. So here's the actual fix. Smart sodium reduction, not total flavor annihilation. Use herbs, garlic, citrus, and low sodium blends. Because let's be honest, if living longer means chewing on boiled nothing, some folks might prefer the risk over the rice cake. After all, dying of boredom isn't exactly in the food pyramid. Running daily heroic or hilarious? Picture this, a 74-year-old man in neon sneakers, power walking like he's late for a meeting with destiny. He's following his doctor's advice to get 30 minutes of cardio a day. But somewhere between mile 1 and the mailbox, his knees file for divorce. Don't get me wrong, movement is magic. Physical activity is one of the few things all experts agree keeps you sharp, balanced, and less likely to turn into a human pretzel every time you bend down. But here's the twist. Many seniors take exercise to mean copy whatever Olympic athletes do, just slower and with more grunting. Instead of gentle movement like Tai Chi, swimming, or stretching, some seniors lace up their old Nikes and hit the sidewalk like they're auditioning for a sports drink commercial. The result? Sprained ankles, flared arthritis, and at least one unfortunate encounter with a garden gnome. Science agrees. A study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that high-impact workouts in seniors often lead to more injuries than benefits, especially when done without proper adaptation. Translation? You're 72-year-old. Hip doesn't care that you used to run marathons and now wants cushioned shoes and a chair yoga class. Worse, when a senior gets injured trying to be healthy, they often stop moving entirely out of fear. It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet by flooding the entire house. Let's be clear, exercise matters. But the goal isn't to outrun death, it's to outwalk your last blood pressure reading without your hip threatening mutiny. The CDC even recommends that adults over 65 aim for balance, strength, and flexibility training, not just cardio. That includes simple activities like walking the dog, dancing in the kitchen, or chasing your grandkid in a very slow, cautious game of tag. So maybe the next time someone over 70 gets the urge to jog like they're in a Nike ad, we gently remind them, this isn't a race, it's a victory lap. And there's no prize for finishing breathless with a sprained knee. Vitamins. Miracle or marketing? Take a peek into your average senior's kitchen cabinet, and you might think you've stumbled upon a mini pharmacy. Rows of shiny bottles, vitamin D, B12, fish oil, ginkgo biloba, something with turmeric, and at least one mystery capsule that looks like it came from outer space. Why? Because someone on Facebook said it boosts brain function. Here's the truth. Supplements aren't evil. Some are downright helpful, especially when there's a real deficiency. Older adults do tend to absorb less vitamin B12 and D as they age. But here's where it gets dicey. The supplement industry is a $40 billion a year machine that thrives on one thing: fear of decline. And guess who's the prime target? Yep, Grandma and Grandpa. One 2023 analysis in JAMA, a real fancy journal, not your cousin's blog, showed that over 80% of seniors regularly take supplements, yet less than 30% of them actually need most of what they're taking. That's a whole lot of expensive pee. Because newsflash, your body can't store infinite amounts of vitamins. What it doesn't need, it flushes. You're basically tipping your kidneys like they're Uber drivers. Even worse, oversupplementation. Can backfire? Too much calcium? Kidney stones. Too much vitamin E? Increased risk of stroke. Too many pills mixed with prescription meds? A chemistry experiment no one signed up for. And let's not forget the psychological trap. I took my vitamins, so now I can skip the veggies mindset. Spoiler alert, no capsule can replace actual food. Your body recognizes broccoli. It does not know what to do with a capsule labeled Super Brain Mega Memory. Want to actually stay sharp and energized? Eat real food. Move your body. Talk to real people. And if you're unsure about your nutrient levels, here's a wild idea: get a blood test. It's like Google for your bloodstream. In the end, remember, vitamins should support your health, not substitute for it. If your morning routine feels more like prepping for a pharmaceutical ad than breakfast, it might be time to scale back, because the goal is vitality, not becoming a human Pez dispenser. Sleep schedules and the 2 a.m. TikTok rabbit hole, they say. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. That's cute. Have you met a 72-year-old with Wi-Fi? In theory, seniors are supposed to follow a clean, cozy sleep routine. No. Caffeine afternoon, soft lighting, gentle music, read a book, lights out by 10. But in reality, it's 2:13 a.m. and they're 3 videos deep into a conspiracy about how dinosaurs invented jazz dot. It's not just poor self-control. Aging actually changes how sleep works. Melatonin production drops. Circadian rhythms shift. You become sleepier earlier, but then wake up at 4 a.m. wondering why your dreams got replaced by infomercials. And when you try to go back to sleep, nope. Your brain starts replaying a conversation from 1987. Yet the advice is always the same. Stick to a routine. Cool, But what about when your bladder schedules its own nightly meeting at 3 a.m.? Or your knees start debating the weather with themselves every time you lie down? And here comes the kicker. Some well-meaning seniors take sleep advice so seriously, they begin forcing sleep lying in bed for hours, eyes wide open, worrying about why they're not asleep. Ironically, the anxiety about sleeping kills any chance of real rest. That's not sleep hygiene. That's insomnia in a lab coat. Scientific studies from institutions like Stanford have found that sleep pressure decreases with age, meaning it takes longer to feel tired enough to sleep deeply. But scrolling TikTok or checking Facebook in bed, that blue light tells your brain it's noon in Las Vegas and time to party. So what actually helps? Routine is good, but flexibility is better. Dim the lights early. Cut screen time before bed, or at least wear those weird orange glasses that make you look like a stylish bug. Get outside in the morning to reset your natural rhythms. And maybe, just maybe, accept that sleep past 70 looks different. It's less 8 hours straight and more a gentle patchwork of naps and deep sighs. And if all else fails, stop stressing. Rest isn't just about sleep, it's about peace. If you're awake at 2 a.m., maybe skip the TikTok and just stare at the ceiling like it's a very boring museum. Because forcing sleep is like trying to fall in love by reading a manual. It rarely ends well, and usually leaves you frustrated in the dark. Fear of fat. When your brain gets hungry, you ever see a 75-year-old poke at a sad little salad and whisper, "I'm watching my fat intake"? Meanwhile, their brain's in the background screaming, "Where's the butter?" Here's the thing. For decades, fat was treated like public enemy number one. Remember those 90s low-fat diets? Snackwell cookies? Everything was fat-free, flavor-free, and joy-free. That fear carried over, and now a lot of seniors still believe fat equals heart attack. So they toss their egg yolks, reject avocado like it's a crime, and live in terror of a pat of butter. Except, plot twist, your brain is literally built from fat, like 60% fat. That thing between your ears? Basically, a stick of premium European butter, trying to manage your emails. And as you age, your brain needs healthy fats even more for memory, focus, and mood. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed more omega-3 fatty acids, the good stuff found in salmon, walnuts, flax seeds, had better cognitive function than those on low-fat diets. Translation: your anti-fat crusade might be making you forget why you started it in the first place. Even worse, when seniors cut fat too aggressively, they usually replace it with carbs. Not quinoa and lentils, nope. We're talking white. Toast, crackers, and the kind of cereal that turns into sugar before it hits the stomach. Blood sugar spikes, crashes, and suddenly you're exhausted at 2 p.m. and blaming it on old age instead of the 5 rice cakes you just ate for lunch. Oh, and cholesterol? It's not always evil either. Older adults actually need a certain level of cholesterol for hormone production and cell repair. Super low cholesterol in seniors has even been linked to increased risk of cognitive decline. So yeah, cutting all fat might keep your arteries clean, but don't be surprised if your brain starts buffering like a slow Wi-Fi signal. The solution? Don't fear fat, respect it. Embrace healthy fats like olive oil, nuts, seeds, and yes, even full-fat yogurt if your digestion allows. Skip the greasy fast food, sure, but don't turn into a dry toast martyr. Balance is the goal, not blandness. Because if you're still alive at 75, your heart's done a decent job. Maybe let it enjoy a little avocado before you turn it into a flavorless monk. Distressing with Pottery apps? Try meditation, they said. It's great for reducing stress, they said. And suddenly, a 78-year-old man is sitting cross-legged on the floor, trying to open an app that demands his Apple ID, 3 permissions, and a monthly subscription just to breathe. Stress relief has become a high-tech scavenger hunt. Mindfulness apps, yoga tutorials, guided breathing, great tools for a tech-savvy 30-year-old. But for someone over 70, downloading a meditation app often causes more stress than it relieves. Welcome to the paradox of modern wellness. The tools to help you relax now come with login errors and a side of digital frustration. Let's back up. Stress in seniors is real and under-discussed. Retirement, health issues, loneliness, or even just watching the news for 5 minutes can raise cortisol levels like a stock market crash. The advice to relax is valid, but when the method is a labyrinth of Bluetooth headphones and daily tracking goals, it's not soothing. It's a tech support ticket waiting to happen. According to the National Institute on Aging, many seniors benefit most from simple, sensory-based activities like gardening, knitting, light walking, or yes, even pottery. The actual kind, with clay and mess, not a simulated version on an iPad. These activities lower stress hormones, engage motor skills, and offer calm without a single push notification. Here's a better idea. Instead of shoving a meditation playlist at Grandpa, ask him what used to calm him before smartphones existed. Maybe it was whittling wood, playing checkers, or just sitting on a porch with a mug of tea and no urgency. That's mindfulness too. It just doesn't get sponsored on Instagram. And let's not forget humor. Studies have shown that laughter actually reduces blood pressure and stress levels in older adults. So yes, watching 3 hours of America's Funniest Home Videos from 1998 technically is a health practice. Take that Calm app. The bottom line? You don't need a subscription to relax. You just need something that feels familiar, comforting, and doesn't ask you to create an account to access your inner peace. Because if relaxation requires a password, it's already too stressful. No wine, no fun. Picture this. It's Grandma's birthday. The cake's on the table, the family's gathered, and someone pours her a celebratory glass of red wine. She smiles, then sheepishly declines. My doctor says no alcohol, she whispers. Meanwhile, Uncle Bob's on his third beer and just asked Alexa if dogs dream in color. Let's talk about the demonization of alcohol in seniors. Now, nobody's saying your 82-year-old grandpa should be doing tequila shots in the backyard. But the idea that any alcohol past age 70 is instantly a health hazard, that's a bit much. Especially when the real issue might not be the wine, but the loneliness it used to soften. A small amount of alcohol, especially red wine, has been linked to cardiovascular benefits, better digestion, and even improved mood in older adults. The Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that seniors who drink moderate amounts, think 1 drink per day max, had better social engagement and overall well-being than those who abstained completely. Yet somehow, moderation gets lost in translation. Doctors say, be careful with alcohol, and suddenly, Grandma's banning champagne at weddings and sipping prune juice at parties. It's like banning music because someone once danced too hard. Even worse, taking away that tiny glass of wine at dinner or the occasional toast at family gatherings often removes one of the few remaining joy rituals seniors have. It's not about the buzz, it's about belonging. About feeling like you're still in the moment, not just watching it go by from a folding chair. Now, yes, alcohol does interact with medications. It can increase fall risk. It's not harmless. But complete abstinence often leads to something worse. Overcompensation through sugar, loneliness, or a sense of being left out of life. That's not wellness. That's forced isolation with a side of FOMO. The smarter approach? Talk to a real doctor about real limits. Maybe it's half a glass. Maybe only on weekends. Maybe switch to something like kombucha if the liver's feeling traumatic. But please let Grandma have her damn toast on her birthday. If we're celebrating a life well lived, let's not do it with warm, sparkling water and regret. Because, little wine at 80 isn't reckless, it's resistance. And it pairs perfectly with being alive. Glad you're enjoying it. Now let's lift part off the ground, gently, with proper form. Weightlifting? First, pass me the milk cartonage. A 79-year-old woman walks into a gym, sees a row of dumbbells, and thinks, if I lift that, I might ascend to heaven immediately. But she's here because everyone keeps saying, muscle is the secret to aging well. And she believes them. So she picks up a kettlebell the size of a small watermelon, and her spine files an official complaint. Now don't get me wrong, strength training is crucial after 70. Muscle mass declines rapidly with age and resistance. Training is one of the few proven ways to fight off frailty, improve balance, and prevent falls. One study from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity showed that seniors who lifted weights just twice a week improved their strength and mobility by over 30% in just 3 months. The problem isn't the science, it's the execution. A lot of older adults here build muscle and think it means reenacting a Rocky montage. But your bones aren't background characters. They have feelings. And they remember that time you tripped over a garden hose. The irony? Many seniors actually hurt themselves trying to be healthier. They go too hard, too fast, lifting too much with too little supervision. And then they spend 6 weeks in physical therapy, wondering how they got here from a YouTube video titled, Get Ripped Any Age. Let's tone it down, literally. Strength training doesn't have to mean barbells and grunts. It can be resistance bands, chair squats, lifting soup cans. Heck, even carrying groceries counts if you do it with intentionality and maybe a little sass. The key is consistency, not CrossFit. And don't even get me started on the gym environment. Most seniors walk into a modern gym and feel like they've stepped onto the set of Mad Max. Protein wars, loud music, neon leggings, and a 22-year-old trainer yelling nitrogen monoxide pain, nitrogen monoxide gain, while flexing in the mirror. Yeah. No thanks. Instead, consider senior-focused fitness classes, home workouts, or even secret exercise like gardening and dancing. It builds muscle and makes you feel like a functioning human, not an action figure mid-exorcism. Bottom line. Strength is important, but ego lifts aren't. Build muscle smartly, slowly, and in clothes that don't make you feel like a shrink-wrapped raisin. Because the goal is aging strong, not auditioning for Fast and Fractured. Retirement Edition. Sunlight. The misunderstood Frenemy. Once upon a time, sunlight was a gift. Now, for many over 70, it's treated like a radioactive enemy. They've been told for decades, stay out of the sun. Protect your skin, wear a hat. Reapply SPF every 13 minutes or perish. So what happens? Seniors shut themselves indoors like hermit crabs in air-conditioned cocoons, safe from UV rays, but also from joy, fresh air, and, oh yeah, vitamin D. Here's the irony. While overexposure to sun can absolutely cause skin damage, the total avoidance of it is now causing its own crisis. Research from the Journal of the American Geriatrics Society shows that over 40% of seniors are vitamin D deficient, leading to weaker bones, lower immune function, increased fall risk, and you guessed it, depression. Yes, depression. Because sunlight doesn't just power your tan, it powers your serotonin, the feel-good brain chemical that tells you life isn't just a long beige hallway of orthopedic shoes and medical appointments. And sure, many try to compensate by popping vitamin D pills. But studies suggest that natural sunlight absorption is more effective for emotional health. It's not just about the vitamin, it's about the experience, the warmth on your skin, the birds, the breeze, the small but crucial reminder that you're alive and connected to something beyond your recliner. So why the overcorrection? Well, years of sunscreen commercials and skin cancer PSAs have created a generation terrified of sunburns. And while caution is smart, turning into a full-time vampire isn't exactly healthy either. The fix? Sunlight in moderation. Just 15 to 20 minutes a day, especially in the early morning or late afternoon, can boost vitamin D, stabilize mood, and even improve sleep by resetting your circadian rhythm. Add a hat, some SPF on your nose, and voila, you're now practicing preventive medicine and enjoying life. And honestly, what's more depressing? The possibility of a minor sunspot, or spending your golden years under fluorescent lighting wondering why you feel like a houseplant in a closet. Let the light in. You're not a mushroom. You deserve sunshine too. Read more, snore more. You know that classic piece of advice. Read a book every day to keep your mind sharp. Lovely idea. Except no one tells you what to do when your eyes start checking out after page 2 and your neck decides it's nap. Time at chapter 1. For many seniors, reading becomes the wellness version of kale. Good for you in theory, but kind of exhausting in practice. Sure, books are brain food, but they require working eyeballs, decent lighting, focus, and a body that doesn't immediately fall asleep in a warm chair. Which, by the way, is basically the perfect nap trap. So you sit down with a new novel and wake up 2 hours later with a book stuck to your face and no memory of anything after the prologue. Let's not forget vision. By 70 plus, most people are working with bifocals, dry eyes, floaters, or light sensitivity. Combine that with tiny fonts and you've got to work out harder than leg day. The American Academy of Ophthalmology reports that vision-related reading difficulties increase sharply after age 65, and that unaddressed eye strain can lead to cognitive fatigue, fancy way of saying your brain wants a snack, not a homework assignment. So what happens? Guilt. They want to keep the mind sharp. They've heard reading prevents Alzheimer's, but every time they open a book, it's a struggle. So instead of adjusting the approach, they give up altogether, and then the shame spiral kicks in. Am I getting slower? Why can't I enjoy this anymore? Here's the plot twist. Reading isn't limited to print. Audiobooks? Amazing. Large print editions? Lifesavers. Podcasts? Basically modern storytelling, minus the eye strain. Even watching documentaries or listening to radio dramas can stimulate the brain without making your corneas beg for mercy. And let's be real, forcing someone to read Ulysses at 75 is like telling a toddler to file taxes. It's not about the book, it's about the engagement. Laughter, curiosity, connection. That's the real mental workout. So next time someone over 70 zones out during a reading session, don't assume they're lazy. Maybe their brain's just asking, can I get this story in audio, please, and with a blanket? Because reading may be fundamental, but napping with a good plot twist? That's elite aging. Leafy greens and bathroom scenes. Eat more greens, they said. Fiber is your friend, they said. And now Grandma's staring down a bowl of kale, the size of her head, wondering why her stomach sounds like a haunted washing machine. Here's the truth. Seniors are often told to eat like wellness influencers, which means more salads, raw veggies, flax seeds, and anything that sounds like it was harvested by monks at dawn. The intention? More fiber, more nutrients, better digestion, lower cholesterol. But when your digestive system is already moving at the speed of government paperwork, suddenly flooding it with raw cabbage and black beans is like sending a marching band through a Zen garden. The National Institute on Aging confirms this. The aging gut slows down. The muscles in the digestive tract become weaker. Stomach acid production drops, and enzyme efficiency decreases. So while a 25-year-old might knock back a spinach smoothie and sprint to Pilates, a 75-year-old doing the same thing might end up with bloating, cramps, and a deep emotional conversation with the toilet. And then comes the vicious cycle. They feel discomfort, blame themselves, stop eating veggies altogether, and return to a beige diet of toast and mashed potatoes. Cue the constipation. Cue the frustration. Cue someone calling prunes nature's apology. But here's the twist. It's not the greens, it's the pacing. Jumping from meatloaf to macrobiotic overnight is a digestive ambush. The key is gradual introduction. Cooked veggies greater than raw. Steamed broccoli greater than kale chips. Add fiber slowly over days or weeks and pair it with plenty of hydration. Also, pro tip, fiber without water is like traffic without lanes. Things will not move. So unless you're also upping your fluid intake, don't be surprised if your bathroom visits turn into existential crises. Want bonus points? Throw in some fermented foods like yogurt or kimchi if their spice tolerance hasn't fled the building. These help the gut flora stay happy, and happy gut bugs mean a happy brain. Yes, your gut literally talks to your brain. It's called the gut-brain axis. And right now, yours might be screaming, please no more raw cauliflower. So yes, eat your greens, but treat your digestion like the vintage machine it is. Gentle, gradual, respectful. Not like you're jump-starting a lawn-mower with rocket fuel, because there's a fine line between nutrient-dense and bathroom-bound. Toxic positivity, smiling through the sadness. If you've ever told a 78-year-old who's just lost their lifelong partner to think positive, congratulations, you've officially weaponized optimism. Somewhere along the way, modern wellness. Decided that the ultimate sign of health is staying upbeat no matter what. No stress, no complaints, just smiles, gratitude journals, and scented candles. But here's the problem. That advice, when taken literally, often tells seniors to abandon everything that makes life feel real. You'd be surprised how many older adults silently grieve the hobbies they gave up in the name of health. They stopped baking because of carbs, stopped dancing because of arthritis, gave up poker night because someone on the internet said staying out late raises blood pressure. Slowly, without noticing, they traded joy for rules, all for the promise of a few extra years spent being cautious. Sure, mindset matters. Yes, negativity can erode well-being. But the push for constant positivity, especially for seniors, often comes at the cost of authenticity. It discourages grieving, venting, and reflecting, which are not signs of weakness, but proof of a life fully lived. And guess what? Suppressing those real feelings doesn't protect health. It can make it worse. Studies from the American Psychological Association show that emotional suppression is linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and even inflammation in the body. So while you're forcing a smile, your immune system is quietly like, "You good, bro?" True positivity isn't pretending everything's fine. It's knowing life is messy, aging is weird, and some days just suck, and still finding a reason to laugh at a fart joke or smile at a grandkid's ridiculous TIKTOK. So here's the best senior health advice no one puts on a pamphlet. Let people keep the parts of life that make it feel worth living. A glass of wine, a slice of birthday cake, a walk in the sun, a loud belly laugh during bingo. If the cost of perfect health is giving up all those things, then maybe we're doing it wrong. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of living longer if you're not really living? That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this in the future. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss them.